All right, good morning, folks. It is June 12th, 2023, and we are less than 24 hours away from getting those Hinman emails. I've been lighting up Twitter with hashtag Hinman emails, and I hope that you guys are as well. I wonder how Mr. Hinman is going to be sleeping tonight. I know me, I'm going to be wide awake like a kid right before Christmas. So excited to see these emails, so excited to expose the corruption at the SEC as we continue to fight not just the SEC, but all of our government that has been weaponized by a DC corporate entity that hijacked this country. So with that being said, folks, let's get right into today's update. We got the market basically hanging sideways. Taking a look at this thing, Bitcoin at 25,808, Ethereum at 1739, and XRP at 51 cents, up about 2% on the day. Cardano up 5%, correcting back from some of those hits that we saw the cryptocurrency space take last week. Cardano getting called a security most recently here by the SEC. We take a look at the charts over here. XRP hanging out above 50 cents, holding strong. Love to see it. But I am getting a little nervous here. I'm wondering what we're going to do. You know, I put out a poll yesterday on Twitter asking, are we going to pump based off of the Hinman emails news? And so, you know, I think that there's a good chance that we could see a little bit of excitement, but I don't think that it's going to be anything that lasts too long. I think that we're really just going to be waiting for a settlement in this case or for the summary judgment ruling to come before we really start to go. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a little bump, a little excitement, and that'll be a lot of fun. But price action aside, we have a legal battle that we are fighting with lawyers like John Deaton leading the fight, leading the charge, and we stand behind all these good men and women who are supporting this cause to expose the government's corruption at the highest levels. Now, with that being said, we're going to get into the first article here tonight. It looks like tomorrow we are also going to get to hear a speech from President Trump. Will deliver a statement to the nation on Tuesday night following Biden regime's latest attempt to put opposition party leader in prison. So we will get to see a lot is going to be taking place this week, folks. This week is going to be an absolute banger, so I hope you guys are ready. But we're going to start off here. I want to show a little snippet here from Ray Dalio, who is the author of A Changing World Order. Highly recommend you guys check out that book. Puts things into perspective of how, you know, and this is where we're looking at the internal chaos in this country, the external chaos, all part of a falling empire. And Ray Dalio breaks it down in his book here. And we're going to listen to him talk about this situation here that we talked about last week. The government, you know, is set to release about $1 trillion worth of bonds right now. And as we stated, nobody's going to buy this crap. Nobody wants to buy this crap. And so the problem is then the Fed has to step in and has to be the buyer of last resort, and they're going to fill up that Treasury General account. And what we see here is the United States hitting what he calls a big cycle debt crisis. Let's take a listen in on this, folks.
We're right at the brink of starting to find out that the amount of selling of government debt collapsed, right? We didn't issue government debt. And now we're going to issue a lot of government debt. And so when we look at the buyers, there appears to be a significant shortage of the buyers for that government debt. But we're now at the brink of being able to see what that supply-demand picture looks like as we go over the next year and two.
Given the challenges that we face.
This is the debt, liquidity, and currency crisis that we've been talking about for a couple years now. It's finally hitting, and there's no more buyers, right? When the money was flowing easy, when the money was easy to get, when the loans were simple, you had companies buying back their stocks, you had buyers for this. But as we see inflation down at 5% and your bond, you know, giving you a similar return, you're breaking even. And on some of those bonds, you might do a little bit better, but essentially you're at a wash. So who wants to take on that? We just saw the short-term Treasury T-bills, the 1 month and the 2 month flipped inverse. That was leading up to the debt ceiling drama. And when that got signed, a lot of people were celebrating and clapping. Oh, we avoided default. All our problems are going to go away. It's the complete opposite, right? And it's actually going to unravel the United States and the dollar even faster. So you have to remember what, in this reality that we're experiencing, what's good politics is generally bad for the dollar. And as I stated with the debt ceiling deal, it was going to be good for markets. We saw a little bit of a bump, temporary. That didn't last too long, did it? And it was going to be good for the politicians, but it was going to be fatal for the US dollar. And so that's what we continue to watch. Now let's get into it, folks. So the situation in the cryptocurrency space is moving quickly as the SEC sues Coinbase for listing what they call securities. Coinbase has a license to list securities, but the SEC won't let them activate it. Are you freaking kidding me? And huge shout out to Digital Asset Investor for sharing this one. He asks, are we living in the twilight zone? Congress, where are you guys? So we have Brian Armstrong here, CEO and founder of Coinbase. Let's listen in here on what he has to say. And I remember covering this a while back. I don't know if this is the same securities broker's license that they got when they acquired that other company. I forget what it was called, but they acquired some company that was a broker dealer for securities. And when they did that, I remember saying and sharing that news with you guys and saying, okay, this is good. This means that Coinbase has their act together. They understand that some of these tokens are going to be securities, but they're ready to list them. They will be available. They're just going to have to register with the SEC and go through that process. So that's good. But it looks like, from the words of Brian Armstrong, that they still won't let them activate it. This is insane. The SEC is doing everything in their power to hold back this space, and it's criminal.
There's no dispute that you are not any of those things. Is that right? Or is there any dispute that you are acting as a broker-dealer, acting as a clearinghouse, and acting as an exchange?
No, I mean, well, we don't claim to be a broker-dealer or, we've acquired a broker-dealer license that's still dormant because they won't allow us to activate it, but
there's no dispute that you are not any...
So they won't allow them to activate it. This is criminal at the highest levels, the way that they're holding back this space. Good actors that are trying to do things the right way, like Ripple. Coinbase, I don't think that they're 100% clean. I think that they are trading against us. I think that they have been engaging in manipulation. That's clear from the other lawsuit. What was that? I can't even remember the name of the guy that they sued. They gave up and offered up a pawn to basically sacrifice, even though the whole exchange was engaged in manipulation and front-running projects where they were listing all these tokens that were essentially just glorified Ponzi scheme scams. And this is the corruption and the dirty part of these exchanges that I have no defense for. In fact, I think that they do need to clean up that crap. I don't care if you want to list a token that has no utility and it's whatever it is, but the front running and then dumping on your own users, that's not what we want to see. So Coinbase is not 100% clean, but the SEC is absolutely criminal. So we got to fix both that. But what are they doing this for? Well, this news right here shows you guys. JP Morgan launches blockchain platform pilot to settle dollar transactions in India. So JP Morgan's still running pilots, still trying to see if their program works out, but at least they have their good friends at the SEC to stifle innovation and to slow up the progress in this space. Chad Steingraber says JP Morgan is one of the major forces behind the decisions of the SEC. They're out to take over the crypto industry. And this is based off the news here. Once again, JP Morgan trying to save themselves from getting wiped out here by competitors like Ripple, XRP that are ready to really disrupt this payment sector. Okay. Now, of course, tomorrow we get the Hinman speech documents, the emails, hopefully, right? Less than 24 hours to go. Unless we get some sort of settlement or something happens here, we are supposed to be getting these Hinman emails tomorrow. Okay. So, and actually, I guess even if the settlement does occur, the emails still do go out, right? So we're going to get to see those emails tomorrow. Hope you guys are ready. I know I am. But the gall of these guys, Bill Hinman, shows up to a conference on Friday, 6/9/23, where Citadel Securities and Fidelity are sponsoring. Paradigm and Sequoia Capital, China, are Citadel's only two listed investors. Fred Ursam, founder at Coinbase, is founder at Paradigm. Heath Tarbert, ex-CFTC commissioner, met with Jay Clayton the day before the Ripple lawsuit, then went to Citadel, where he has been the chief legal officer since. Heath left Citadel and joined Circle 2 days ago as chief legal head of corporate affairs. Fidelity investments include only a few crypto projects, one of them being Coinmetrics, which is made up of investors like BlockFi, Castle Island Ventures, Coinbase Ventures, Digital Currency Group, Goldman Sachs, and Warburg Series. Deep China ties. Fidelity is invested in Joseph Lubin's ErisX exchange, not to mention Airbnb, which was a Simpson-Thatcher deal. Fidelity also invested in Talos with A16Z and many others in May of 2022. Can't wait for those emails. This guy has no shame. And a huge shout to Cowboy Crypto and all of the Twitter sleuths. These guys are so over the target. Like literally, within 24 hours of anything happening, we are on these guys, connecting the dots and continuing to apply pressure. And our work is finally paying off. We have less than 24 hours to go before we get to expose those hashtag Hinman emails. Make sure you guys hashtag it up. Let's get it trending on Twitter. And we're going to blow this thing up. And you know, it's so funny how everybody in the space is super quiet about these Hinman emails. While the rest of the space should be gathering behind Ripple, should be gathering behind John Deaton, and the rest of the Twitter sleuths in the XRP community that have exposed this whole thing so that they could use this in their defense. But why won't they? Because it's exposed their corruption and their participation in the Ethereum free pass Ponzi scheme cryptocurrency space up until this point. That's the problem, and that's why they're keeping their mouth tight-lipped while we approach less than 24 hours for those Hinman emails. Now, the manipulation does continue, though. Definitely hasn't stopped. Justin Sun withdrew 20 million USDT from Aave and deposited 20 million USDT to Binance 30 minutes ago. So Binance getting bailed out here by Justin Sun. They're trying to keep this thing alive, trying to keep this thing afloat. Oh, I missed it. Darn it. Okay. I think there was another billion that was printed at the USDT Treasury. So another billion of Tether was just printed as well. I forgot to bring up that one too. So we have Justin Sun depositing 20 million USDT into Binance. And then I think it was another billion USDT was just printed and minted at their mint. Okay. So we continue to watch that. They're trying to keep this thing alive, trying to keep it afloat. But I think that their time is running out. Now, we go over here to Japan, where XDC is set to be listed on SBI VC Trade for the first time in Japan. So huge shout out to Yoshitaka Katao, SBI, and the whole group over there for continuing to lead the way, bringing XDC on, and we absolutely love XDC. Now, guys, I know a lot of people have been asking, where can I store my XDC? I can't put it on Ledger, and I know everybody's having issues with Ledger too. So if you go to my website, I have a link for the Alipal Titan, and that's the other wallet that we use for storing our XDC. It's one of the many wallets that is, or one of the few wallets, I should say, that is compatible with XDC. So if you're looking to get that, just head on over to my website, zachrector.com, and there might even be a link in the description down below here for you guys to head on over, get the Alipal Titan, and you can store your XDC over there. We're a big fan of XDC. I need to do an updated deep dive on XDC, don't we? Okay. Now, we got a couple here from David Schwartz. So a little bit of a back and forth. This whole thread here started with Panos talking about, he says, it's sad that a big part of the XRP community still believes that XRP was created for banks or to help institutions. It was literally created to destroy the banks and the monopoly and disintermediate them. XRP was created as a better Bitcoin for P2P transactions for people, not banks. Well, you know, I think that David's going to explain it right here. Ripple obviously has a different agenda than those who created XRP. I mean, David is one of 3 developers that did create XRP, but you have to understand, right? Ripple has their own business goals and agenda versus why did David, Arthur Brito, and Jen McCaleb create XRP in the very beginning? It was to be an alternative Bitcoin. It was to be a deep liquidity pool, a global liquidity pool, as we titled this session. And so David Schwartz explains this. When Ripple pivoted to payments in 2014, it was because the DEX ecosystem on the XRPL was doing well. There was over 8 million per day in swaps and payments that we could 100% confirm was real economic activity. We wanted to focus on the thing that we felt that we as a single company could do best. And nobody else was working on building an enterprise payment system that could settle with a cryptocurrency. We felt the XRPL was the best technology to make that happen. But that certainly doesn't mean that that's the only or the best thing for the XRPL to do. Then, when the ICO craze hit, we had more money and more employees and could definitely take on more than one thing. We saw projects getting talked into ICOs even where that made no sense for the project, and we brought in our focus to try to encourage projects to be more platform agnostic. It is absolutely true that the original vision for what we now call the XRP ledger was to be like Bitcoin, but natively supporting multiple assets with sophisticated cross-currency and cross-issuer payments, and exchanges also natively supported. My very first pitch for the XRPL was, quote, deep, fair pools of liquidity between hundreds of assets that anyone in the world can contribute to and draw off of, even as they make a payment. So what we have here with the XRP ledger is essentially a global liquidity pool that is tapped into every single asset that is tokenized, right? And I think that there is a lot of confusion here with folks. You know, what's the mission of Ripple? What was XRP created for? XRP was created to be a better Bitcoin, but Ripple has their goal and their agenda. We're not going to move, you know, they said that they want to service 7.5 billion people, but how do you do that? Well, you work through 1,000 different banks. You work through 10,000 different banks at Swift. You get Swift to enable that technology, and you create that enterprise liquidity pool that 7.5 billion people can tap into on the front end, on the retail end from their phone, but on the back end, you're settling it all with the deepest liquidity pools and the best liquidity in the world, and that's going to be coming from the XRP ledger. So we are getting a little bit of clarification here on that. And then we continue to see that Ripple is not letting up. They continue to press forward. Mr. Huber shares this one. In the midst of everything that is happening right now, Ripple has just published a new job opening in New York. They're looking for a lead product manager, crypto payments platform, whose primary role is to create and launch a new crypto payments platform from 0 to 1. Bitcoin maxis will weep. So they just acquired another 100 employees with the Metaco acquisition. Right? And they were already at about 800. So that acquisition put them probably close to 900, and they're going to be approaching 1,000 here shortly. They're hiring for dozens of positions right now in the middle of this lawsuit. And for those that do get hired from Ripple, you are going to get to listen to David's motivational talk. That's right. So David says, I'm privileged to give a motivational talk to all the new Ripple employees joining us from Metaco. I think I've got it perfect, but if anyone has any suggestions for last minute edits, I'd love to hear them. Let's check this one out, folks. So here's David's motivational speech. Have you ever asked yourselves in an hour of meditation, which everyone finds during the day, how long we have been striving for greatness? It has been a lifetime struggle, a never-ending fight. This is a day of solemn decision in Ripple's ascent and of memorable events destined to give a new course to the history of blockchain. The powers of the free pass, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, ever closely linked, participate today on the side of the SEC against thousands of heroic projects. I say to you, and you will understand, it is a privilege to fight alongside them. One man only, a tyrannical regulator through a series of infinite I can't even say that word. Betraying with a supreme fraud the population of his own country, wanted this war and had prepared for it day by day with diabolical obstinacy. Yet it is blood alone that moves the wheels of history. I say to you, and you will understand, it is a privilege to fight against them. We are warriors. We are warriors. Now, when I read that, I was thinking of Coach JV. Huge shout out to Coach. Warriors, rise, right? Employees of Ripple, new and old, I ask you once again to rise and be worthy of this historical hour. We must never cede control of the ledger. We must never acquiesce, for it is together that we prevail. We shall win. So there you have it, folks. We shall win. And can you imagine getting that motivational speech from David? That sure would be fun. Now, on the way out, guys, I'm going to put the link here to the video for you guys. If you guys missed last night's session, it's called Trillions in Damages. We ran up a big Sunday session last night. So if you guys want to check that out after this one, feel free. And everything else is over at my website, ZachRector.com. I appreciate all of you guys, and I will see you in the next one. God bless.